I recently graduated from the University of Iowa this past spring with a degree in cinema and history. And for the last 2 years, I've been working on my own YouTube content for, well, YouTube. And I've been more or less looking into how can I make this into a business? How far can I take this along? And I'm hoping to walk you through what I've been doing for the last 2 years. So I don't really have a very complicated backstory to how I got into this. It was the height of the COVID pandemic, and as you can probably imagine, I was at my apartment a lot, just staying indoors, just so that I could keep on seeing my mom every day. Just so I couldn't get her sick or anything like that. So I was quite bored just being at home by myself, and I just kind of decided, well, the YouTube is giving us free access to the Adobe Creative Suite, which includes Premiere Pro, which is Adobe's video editing software. So I just kind of decided to start editing videos in a very specific format. I was enjoying one of my favorite Twitch streamers, which is a live streaming platform for anybody who doesn't know about Twitch, playing a game that I really liked, and I just decided, what if somebody edited this down? And I just kept on going with it. So more or less, what I do with the video content is that I take these very long video series of games being played that are in the hundreds of hours. The longest thing I've ever edited down was 153 hours, down to about 18 hours in total, with the goal of maintaining the narrative that was originally in there. That is to say, not to take out any moment that sort of built up to a moment in that playthrough. I was very intent on making sure that everything made sense, so as a way of increasing accessibility to the original source material, because 153 hours to rewatch something is a very long time. So I really wanted to create something that was reusable, as well as adding additional production value to it, sort of like changing and adding in-jokes to the original videos. So this is what a video in production looks like. All these little green tabs you see here is an edit idea that I have, and as you can probably see, every little indentation here is an edit idea that I have and I would implement over my editing process, which I've gotten better about how efficient I am with this. I think the fastest I've ever edited was this 1 hour and 15-minute video. I managed to get that done more or less over the course of a weekend, but still a very long production process that I've been looking into, examining how can I increase my efficiency with that and increase the workflow and all that. And since June 2021, this is the overall stats that I had gotten 2 million views across about 22 videos that I have uploaded, and have gotten over 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. So in terms of the future, in terms of the potential paths that I could be taking this, I am looking at editing for clients, such as streamers, to see if anybody is interested in having their content abridged, as I put it, by... Sorry, I had a little bit of a burp there. Anyway, I was hoping to edit for clients to see if they would be interested in having their video content shortened so that you don't have something where it's just like a highlight reel of where it's just 18 minutes of the best jokes, which is a completely valid way of doing it. I am just more interested in making sure that there is a story that is there that can be followed. How did we get from point A to point C in that story that takes place? I could also just continue working on my own content, whatever fits my fancy, or it could just remain a hobby. I was quite surprised when everything took off in the way that it did over the past 2 years. I've been able to keep up with it, even though I had a job was going to the university here. And I just really want to see where I can take this. And that is all. I'm more than happy to take some questions.
Very right, questions?
This is fascinating to me. You know, hearing you kind of pitch it the last couple of weeks, you know, like over a few seconds, I was like, what is he talking about? Like, what's 100-hour long video or whatever it is? So great work, and it's amazing to see the numbers that you're getting on your YouTube channel here. Have you made any money off of this yet, or you're just exploring how you could make money?
Yes, I have made some ad revenue off of it.
Okay. And right now you're taking other people's Twitches and cutting them down, or are these your
Yes.
Twitches?
The guy in particular has a policy of just like letting the fans do whatever with it as long as it's not a one-to-one re-upload. Like if he had like a 6-hour long video and I uploaded that 6-hour video and made money off of it, no. But if I took that 6-hour video and turned it into say 10 minutes, totally fine.
Okay, interesting. Have you done any customer discovery yet to see if it's something that they would pay for to have their videos cut down?
I am in progress with that. The big issue has been trying to get in contact with streamers. I've talked with 2 streamers so far that I personally knew just going through this whole video editing process. They'd be interested, but they were unsure about how the payment system would work. And I'm still working on getting into contact with streamers as of right now.
Do you have a video targeting your streamers?
Sorry?
Do you have a video of yourself targeting streamers, letting them know what you could do and how you've done it?
In terms of showing my process, no, not in particular.
Is it common for people to find interest in a game? I'm not a gamer. To find interest in a game and then spend 100 hours or 50 hours. My son will rewatch games. I understand people do it, but are these specific tournaments or something, or why would somebody invest 50 hours, let alone, or 100 hours, let alone 18?
Editing or watching?
Watching.
Watching? There's a lot of study. I actually so happened to take a class about fandom, and a big topic that came up is the sort of way that why people rewatch content. Like, in my case, I have certain fixations. I happen to be on the autism spectrum, and I do have certain fixations. But for some people, it can be sort of like a comfort series in a way, of just like revisiting something that will make me laugh or feel comfortable while I'm doing something. And there has been research actually of just like this being sort of like a secure base, as the studies put it, for people to rewatch. And I have actually gotten talked with people who have watched my content. I've encountered quite a few in the communities that I occupy, that have told me they've rewatched my thing, I think the highest I've heard that I believe, because everybody says, I've seen that movie dozens of times, it's like only 5 times. I've heard somebody rewatch my entire series 4 times. And it can be sort of a comfort watch for some people. So I think a big appeal is in that, as well as just not having to rewatch the whole 153 hours originally, because a big thing that I pay attention to is how does the story unfold from there, because the interaction that you have with a game there can be a lot of downtime, but there can be also a lot of highlights in there that need to be connected, and I feel like that is like the big thing that I do the best in this editing sphere.
Would you say most of the big streamers gatekeep their content? I know you said one guy, as long as you didn't upload a one-to-one, like exact replica of their video, they were okay with it. Is that the policy that most people have, or do some of the people want to keep the content themselves and not let you upload anything?
So it varies from streamer to streamer. There's a variety of different personalities because streamers come from a variety of different backgrounds. Some come from a more entrepreneurial sort of thing where they want to have maximum profits from it. Some are more community oriented, such as the guy that I have edited for, who is just do whatever, just hands off, just laissez-faire about all of it. So it's my approach in terms of if I were going to be going along with the client approach is going to depend on the streamer. If the streamer is just do whatever, as long as you're not re-uploading one-to-one, don't care, great. If it's a case of, hey, I don't want you posting this on your own channel, but I will let you post it on my own channel and I'll pay you something, which I have heard is an arrangement that some streamers do, that could also work. So it's very much depending on the individual streamer's personality.
You kind of explained my follow-up question, right? I think there's almost two different business models here. Number one is you create your own unique content in the sense that you're compressing these existing files that it sounds like if a 1.5-hour video takes you an entire weekend to create, these streamers who are playing or engaging in the activity in real time don't have the bandwidth to do that themselves, right? And so you have your own YouTube channel where you could upload that condensed content, or as you just said, I think it could be interesting as almost a service business where you go to these big streamers and say, let me help you increase your engagement with your audience by condensing those videos.
And that has been like the big question that I've been approaching this course with, of which path is the most viable for me, because as I hope this presentation communicated, I kind of accidentally fell into this. Like, if the COVID pandemic never happened, I probably wouldn't be here telling you about this business that I've basically just came up with over the last 2-ish years.
The guy that you've already done some editing for, is he someone that you know and are in contact with?
Yes, I have talked with him. He actually watched my whole thing, and he loved it, honestly.
Right, and then some follow-up with that, is there a way that you could talk to him and have him kind of talk to other streamers or get you in contact with other streamers? Have you thought about that yet?
So streamers in general have very strong personalities in terms of that. He has a lot of real life stuff that just prevents him from doing anything outside of streaming content, making his own content. It would be way too complicated to explain that situation, but I would find it highly unlikely just in terms of my personal interactions with him, as well as just knowing what his life is. Because when you have listened to somebody for 150 hours, you find out a lot of things about their life.
He could be a good testimonial, perhaps,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's a few words written on your website or whatever.
Are you only doing certain types of genres, or are you doing all types of genres on YouTube or streaming or whatever you're doing?
When you say all genres, how do you mean? Are we talking within gaming content or anything that is ever streamed on Twitch?
Yeah, everything is streamed on Twitch, essentially.
I do feel like I would be restricted in some areas because I feel like my format only fits much more longer playthroughs. Because if it's something like, say, Call of Duty, which is a game that requires very fast reflexes, it's not very story intensive in terms of there's not a lot of narrative, but there's a lot of action. My editing style is probably not going to fit that, versus a game that is 50 hours long, has a lot of story, has a lot of characters and all of that, where there's lots of interaction. So I am limited in the sense of it depends on the type of game and streamer that is interacting with the content, because if a streamer is just there just talking about life and stuff, because that's what some streamers do, and not interacting with the game much, I don't think I can do that style very well. I could certainly adapt to it, I think so.
Other questions? I know you enjoy the editing part of it. You ever thought about doing the streaming part of it yourself?
The thought has crossed my mind a few times. I do, however, lack a proper camera setup for that, as well as I have learned in general, just observing streamers, that it is something that is very difficult to get into, because you are essentially performing for somebody in a way. Even if you, on paper, you're just there playing the game, you are constantly aware of some people watching you and are expecting to be entertained, or at least engaged with. So I'm not sure if I could actually do the streaming part as of yet.
Any other questions? If not, I will ask our traditional final question. What can we as the community do to help you?
Well, if you happen to know anybody who streams on Twitch or any other platform, I would love to talk to them. As well as if you happen to know of any video editors in the area, I am always interested in talking with other video editors, learning any tips, tricks that I can, as well as recommendations for people that they might have edited for that might have some ideas.
All right, let's give them a hand. Great job.